Okay, so when working with your Raspberry Pi, there's a couple things I want us to keep in mind, which might not be 100% clear when you're starting out. So the Raspberry Pis that I shipped to you, they actually have a custom-made like operating system. Now, it's not like I went in and rewrote the entire operating system, but there's a couple of scripts, there's a couple of files basically on it that are running in the background that do some stuff for us. So in particular, in some of the labs, what you're going to end up seeing are sort of hardware type of questions where instead of instead of a question where maybe there's like an enter a Python value, enter a value and then you press submit, right, and then it checks it and then gives you, hopefully, God willing, like 100%, right. There's going to be other questions where there's going to be some instructions above it, which will be like build this circuit, and then underneath it there'll be a box with the submit button, and then you're going to push that, and there's actually nothing to submit. There's no field of text to actually enter into. These are known as hardware questions, okay? And these are actually a way for us to sort of check in on what you're actually building. Now, it's still kind of a prototype. It's something I've been developing for the last year, but what it does is, because you're logged in as you in the CatSoup site, and you can do this either from the Raspberry Pi on the web, or I'd actually pretty much prefer you do it from your normal computer, okay? When you are logged in as you in the Raspberry Pi, or when you're logged in as you in CatSoup, and you press submit, what it does is it actually sends a message to a server, and the server is currently sitting in New Jersey, okay? Why it is just because it is, okay? I don't know. That was the cheapest server I could find. But anyways, so, it's going to say, let's say your username is, I don't know, dog, okay? So your dog. And so whenever you press submit, what CatSoup does, okay, the software that we're using, it sends a message saying, okay, dog just pressed this hardware check. All right, and then it goes to the server down in New Jersey server. Okay, and what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, what Raspberry Pis are connected right now? Is dog's Raspberry Pi connected? If it is, what it's going to do is it's going to send a pre-written piece of Python code that corresponds to this particular question type down to the dog Raspberry Pi, wherever that is. Well, hopefully it's right next to you. Okay, run that code, spit the results back up to the server, grade them, and then come back and hopefully give you a 100%. All right, so for this to work, what's important is, the key piece is we need internet connectivity from your laptop or wherever you're pressing the actual submit button to the server, and that's like a no-brainer, right, because you got to be on the web. But more importantly, and a little bit less obviously, is we need the Raspberry Pi to be connected to the internet, okay? And not only that, it needs to be not have had disrupted internet service. So like, let's say you power on your Raspberry Pi and you accidentally unplug the Ethernet cable, or you the USB Wi-Fi dongle falls out or something like that. So if that happens while it's running, what'll happen is it'll lose it like constantly, like as soon as it loses connection with the server, once you need to actually reset something, okay? Otherwise, if you press submit, what'll happen, and you'll see, it's going to happen to everyone because this is sort of bleeding edge technology, but it'll just actually, instead of giving you 100%, it'll just think forever and sort of do that window spinning thing, or it'll return back at 0% and, fingers crossed, maybe give you a message like telling you your Raspberry Pi is not connected. So if that happens, what you got to do is in your web browser at the top, so on the Raspberry Pi, and now this must be done on the Raspberry Pi, I want to stress that. If in your web browser, instead of typing www.google.com or something stupid like that, go to the top and write local host : 2016. And what'll appear underneath there should be a little button, and it'll say server reset, okay? And if you push that button, push it once or push it 4 times, it doesn't really matter. What that should do is restart the code that can start talking back to the server. So let's say you're going through a hardware check and you push the submit button, like maybe it's one of the ones which is saying I'm going to flash some LEDs, and it doesn't return a response, right? Refresh your page. Then on the Raspberry Pi, assuming it's actually got internet, which it better for sure, go to localhost 2016 up in the web browser, push the server reset button, and then hopefully things should be back to normal. You can press submit. If localhost 2016, when you go there, if it doesn't have any web page, you have to restart your Raspberry Pi, okay? Now, I know this might be annoying, but this is sort of part of this is the toll you got to pay for taking MOSTEC EECS, okay? Because this is something I've been developing, and I want to see if we can actually, like, we can check your code, no problem, your Python. We can ask you questions. You can answer those, give feedback in real time. But I really want to know, can we actually check your hardware, the circuits you're building in real time? And this is one piece of how I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Okay, so thanks for your patience. If you got any problems with it, too bad. Well, I'll appreciate your input, okay?